You are live.
We are live. All right, this is the sound check portion. Please.
You are live.
Wow, that was good. Please let us know how we sound before we actually start the show. Why is this not updating? What is wrong with you?
My process.
Why are you the way that you are?
Why don't you have your big iPad out?
I don't use this one for anything else anymore, so I figured I might as well have this one out and available. All right. As soon as we get a good sound check, we'll begin. You actually sound like a Murloc from World of Warcraft.
Well, there's so many. Like you have Dobby, right? It kind of sounds like that.
I guess if you're into that kind of thing.
What's the Lord of the Rings version? It's basically
Smeagol.
the same. Smeagol, yeah. Smeagol. You have the. Have you ever seen that show? Fuck, I can't
Probably not.
I can't think. It's a cartoon show. Anyway, it has like these masturbation monsters, right? That are part of it. Yeah, it's what the fuck is that show called? God damn it!
Masturbation monsters.
Yeah. It's actually really funny.
All right, judging by Bronco Fett's click, I guess that means our sound is good.
Steve Salzbach actually, but no, I don't think he's listening right now.
Luna Girl's in the chat. Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
All right. I'm going to call it good.
Hang on.
Oh, my God.
Let's see.
He's got to find this thing before we start.
Masturbation monster.
I think he's making it up.
Or is it? Wow. Whew, that's... No, we're going to go ahead and not ever Google that again. What the fuck? Or is it... What the fuck is that show? Cartoon with...
Man, Big Swede's really kicking it with the quarantine sessions. He just posted something on Instagram about he's got participants from 3 continents and 8 countries doing his musical stuff.
If we have time at the end of the show, we have to. There's a recording he asked. He's asking people to do.
Oh,
as part of that.
Okay.
Got the last copy of Ballistic.
Whoops.
Get the what now?
Nothing.
Get the who now? What now?
It's Heather Lynn. She's
yeah. I can't. It's like big something big cartoon.
Dave's still looking for his masturbation monsters. So as soon as he's done fucking around on his phone, we'll get started. We got Dragon Buddy in the chat. We got Luna Girl,
Creeping Death.
Bronco
Yes.
Fett. Oh, Benjamino Chode. Benjamin Chode. What's up, Benjamin Chode?
What's the name of that fucking cartoon?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never heard of.
It's got Nick Kroll. Help! Come on, people in the chat.
He needs help. He needs help.
Jamie, bring that up.
Yeah, we need a Jamie.
Kroll.
All right.
Benjamin
Chode in the chat knows cartoons. Tell him.
Big Mouth. It's Big Mouth.
Big Mouth.
Yeah, Big Mouth's the name of the thing. So, is the name of the cartoon. And he has a...
Why were we even talking about that? Like, how did we get to that point?
Because one of their characters talks like this. It's like an old version of the...
Was it one of the characters from that one show where it was like the dude was like fucking French fries and one of the dudes was a hamburger?
Oh, that's Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yeah.
That kind of sounds like the meatball.
Yeah.
The sounds are my dreams. Kind of, they're all relatively the same.
It's pretty good at the voices, though. All right, can we get started
Big
now?
Mouth.
Please?
Fuck, that hurt. That hurt my brain.
Trust me, it hurt me too. So, all right,
for a cartoon that you have never watched.
Correct. All right, so we're ready to get started.
Yes.
In here.
Nope.
All right, give me a countdown and we'll get it going.
Oh, we don't have a special one this week.
No.
Where's my
I should have done it with. I should have done the fast talking guy commercial to start us off.
If I had something to read, I can read almost Not even close to that.
I was gonna say that'd be pretty impressive.
I've had to read stuff at Lodge like this, like multiple pages that are mandatory reads.
Mm-hmm.
So it's as fast as I can possibly fucking read it.
All right, well, let's not blow our wads. We still gotta. He's part of the show, so.
Oh yeah, all right, yeah, ready, set, go.
From a Gen X point of view, is not brought to you today by alcohol. We're both going dry this week.
We are,
so to speak. Because as Gen Xers, I mean, let's be honest, our bodies ain't what they used to be. And I know we can speak personally that we put ourselves through quite a bit of shit in our younger years.
I have exercised my liver to its max extent.
Yeah.
Have used my ox liver several times. And yeah, no, I don't need to do it all the time. Although I will say this. I fantasize about being an alcoholic. Like, so look.
Okay.
By the way, this week we're talking about micro machines, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about alcohol for like 5 minutes.
We'll get there.
Yeah. For those of you tuning in for micro machines,
yeah,
we'll get there.
Yeah. So
I drink Diet Coke all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had, the silver cans of Diet Coke are all over the place.
Yes.
So I have this fantasy sometimes of every time I open a Diet Coke, like it's a Coors Light or something. Okay. And if I was drinking beer like I drink Diet Coke, I would never be sober, ever. Because I'm like constantly walking around. Sometimes at like 9 a.m, I'm opening a Diet Coke. I'm like, man, this would be too early if this were a beer. Right. So I have this like fantasy, like if I was drinking like this all the time, that it'd be nice to have that buzz all the time. And I could see how easily it would be to fucking revert to that.
Right.
Because I never drank beer like I drank hard alcohol back in the day.
No.
Like back in the day, it was party liquor all the time. Like beer, yeah, occasionally.
No.
Very rare did I get beer drunk. But yeah, rum and cokes, man.
Yeah, it's funny for me because in my younger years, it was all the hard shit.
Mm-hmm.
But then I got into a phase where after you and I started flying together, where it was like every fucking night. Like this is when we were living on base too. On my drive home, I'd stop at the shopette that was right there on Fort Dix.
Mm-hmm.
I'd grab a 6-pack of something, either like Sam Adams or something. I'd take it home and I'd fucking finish that whole 6-pack over the course of like
before you got home. I'm like, oh my god,
yeah, no! And I'd finish that 6-pack, and I did that every day for like a year,
dude. When I worked at fucking CompuCom, right, my office space fucking job building computers,
mm-hmm.
I worked 3 to 11. So from 11. Like we finished at 11, clocked out, and me and a couple other guys were in this group, the AT&T group. We would go to this bar on just off of 295 called Hot Shots, and we would be there until it closed.
Jesus,
every fucking night, getting just absolutely tore up, and then drunk driving from there back to my apartment in Mount Ephraim at the time.
Right.
So having to get on 295. And fucking drive. Look, this.
Were you and Kathy together at this point?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes. We weren't married yet, but we had Jeff and we had an apartment in Mount Ephraim. Yeah, it was. And I was a traditional guardsman too. So like I had the drill weekends, stuff like that. So I was working at the CompuCom full time. The amount of drinking and drunk driving that was happening. Because we hated it. We hated the fucking job. It was office space. It was like 5 different bosses. It was the whole fucking thing. And yeah, we would literally close that place, help them mop the floor, and fucking put up the chairs. Right. That's how bad it was. Me and this guy John Blower and this guy, another guy Kurt Meese. We would fucking go, and yeah, just get absolutely blackout drunk. Every fucking night.
Nice.
Getting home at 3 a.m. And Kathy could tell you so many stories of my drunk ass coming into the house.
Well, I will have to be sure to ask her next time I see her.
We need to actually have a drunk episode, and then we can talk about like that type of stuff. It's
Oh, yeah.
these stories are a lot more fun when we're drinking.
Oh,
than
indeed.
necessarily sober.
But because of all of these things that we did in our past,
Yes.
drinking every single week, it's not, it doesn't work. Because I tell you, last week after I had, what was I drinking last week? I think it was the rum and cokes,
Yep.
right? Dude, after like 3 of those, I felt like shit that night. Like my stomach was all in knots. Couldn't sleep for shit that night. Felt like shit the next morning. But it wasn't like hangover type of sickness.
Right.
It was just like all my internal organs are like, fuck this. We're not doing this shit anymore. So we're shutting down for a while.
Nice.
And yeah, it's not fun. I mean, it's fun when you're doing it, like
Right.
as you're going through the motions, but yeah, the after effects just aren't worth it sometimes.
No, I agree.
So this week I'm like, you know what? No alcohol this week. I might pick it back up next week, but the liver and everything else needs a break. So anyway, that was a long-winded introduction to episode 29. And what did you say we're talking about today?
Micro Machines.
Yes, the month of M has come to a close.
Right.
It's been a great month. It's been a lot of fun doing the M theme, and we're going to close it out with a double M, Micro Machines.
Yep.
And yeah, it's going to be a good time. But before we get to that, we've got plenty other business to get to. First and foremost, our social media director, Lunar Girl,
Yes.
as she does every single week, put up another poll this week, which was related to our topic. So because we're doing toys, she put up a toy-related poll, and basically what this or that does is she puts the game up on our Instagram at GenXPOV, and she gives you 2 options. You pick one, and then we go over the results and talk about it here on the show. So, like I said, toy theme this week, and we got started off right with a bang in this first one. Transformers versus GoBots.
Oh, well, I mean, this is an easy one.
So
Was there a single GoBot selection?
at least one, because GoBots got 4% of the vote.
Shut up.
So I'm thinking there's
Some
probably,
contrarian fucking just is like, you know
Right.
what, fucking nobody else is going to put GoBots. So
it's
I'm gonna
got to
go
be
ahead
a
and do
fucking
it.
troll, like somebody who's just trolling, because there's no way.
Or some poor kid that all he got was GoBots and that's all he knew.
Which, to be fair, that's the first thing that I ever got when it comes to these 2 toys. I got a GoBot long before I got a Transformer.
Right.
Only because they came out the gate first and they were cheaper, smaller.
Yeah. Refer back to our Transformers episode to
Yeah,
get
which
into more
was
detail of that.
Not that long ago. This was a good one. I'd forgotten about these. Mad Balls versus Boglins. And there's the picture.
I've never heard of Boglins. Like,
Me either.
We saw Mad Balls. Like
Yeah.
that was
The Mad Balls were crazy. And I
Yeah.
knew a lot of people who had them. I never had one myself. But man, they were fucking wild. But
yeah, it was
they were pretty neat.
it was
concept.
basically a dog toy.
Yeah. It was
That's
kind of
what it
like
was.
it was like a hard foam kind of squeezy
Yeah.
ball.
Yes.
But yeah, they had all like the gross faces, and yeah, it was cool though. But yeah, Boglins, I don't think I know what that is.
I mean, I guess it's similar.
Yeah.
Lunar Girl must know, because maybe that's a northeastern PA thing. Maybe they
Right.
didn't have they had Boglins instead of the fucking, I don't know.
The Mad Balls. All right, so this one was a lot harder than you may believe. It was He-Man versus Thundercats. Obviously, He-Man wins. No doubt about it. That's what I picked. But I had quite the affinity for Thundercats for a brief period of time growing up.
I'm right there with you. I think I watched a good amount of Thundercats, maybe even more so because maybe Thundercats came a little bit later than He-Man. But
Yeah, definitely did.
Like
Came
that
a couple years later.
preteen going through, like, you know, kind of the Thundercats thing.
And then, Chitara, she like,
Right.
ooh,
Yeah.
she,
Hang on.
tight spandex.
Yeah, like, what is
the
happening
leopardy
here?
looking thing.
Something's happening to my body that I just don't
Yeah.
I don't quite understand yet.
Mhm.
But I never had any action figures. I never had any of the Thundercats
Yeah,
action
see, I
figures.
had a couple. I had Lion-O, I had Mum-Ra, and I think the little fucking annoying piece of shit. Snarf.
one of the oh yeah. Snarf.
Yeah.
Snarf. Yeah, you had to have an annoying sidekick. I mean, because basically what it was He-Man. It was like He-Man, the square root of He-Man.
Right.
Fucking ends up. No, that's not right either. Not a good analogy. Anyway, it's a derivative of fucking He-Man.
Sure, yeah, because it wouldn't exist if He-Man hadn't
Exactly.
exploded. And I mean, He-Man is on a level all its own. Really no competition. And He-Man won, by the way, 91% to 9%.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, going back, I didn't say the results for the Mad Balls. Mad Balls won 85% to 15% Boglins. So a decent amount of people are picking Boglins.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know who these people are, but whatever.
And that's funny too, because it's not like East Coast, West Coast thing, because you're obviously representing the West Coast, especially from childhood.
Yeah.
And I'm East Coast. So yeah, I don't know. Fucking weird.
Yep. All right. Piggybacking off of the He-Man, we've got She-Ra versus Jem, which the funny thing is, obviously I was not into She-Ra. I knew of her through He-Man. I think my sister had a She-Ra doll.
Right.
But I actually knew Jem. I watched the Jem show.
Is truly outrageous.
Yes, I was gonna say
truly,
I know that
truly outrageous.
I know that whole fucking theme song still. So I mean, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But I picked She-Ra only because again, the He-Man.
I think I picked Jem because I know that Jem is truly outrageous. Jem is my name. No one else is the same. Jem is my name. Jem.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why.
But anyway,
what did it finish with?
She-Ra won 64%.
Okay.
To 36%.
Yeah.
Next one. This was actually kind of a close one too. But I think because of the iconicness of Cabbage Patch Kids,
right,
it beat out My Buddy and Kid Sister.
My buddy. My buddy. Wherever I go, he goes.
My buddy.
Yep. My buddy and me. Yeah.
Kid Sister.
Kid sister. Oh, fucking annoying.
All right.
Oh, God.
So anyway,
the commercials.
They were on all the time.
Renting space in my fucking brain
that will never go away.
Yep, that should
until the day that we're put into the fucking ground.
Jem had no problem with that. What is this? Jem had no problem with her boyfriend basically cheating on her. I
have no memory of this.
I don't either. And
to be fair, I did not see the movie that they made. Based off of Jem, so if you're referencing that, then I have no idea.
Jem got the worst modern reboot of all time.
I would
great.
I would agree. Anyway, Cabbage Patch Kids won 91% to 9%.
Yeah, and it's Cabbage Patch Kids. I mean, from a toy perspective, we talked about in an episode, didn't we? Did we talk about Cabbage? We talked about
Cabbage Patch and Garbage Pail Kids.
And Garbage Pail Kids. Yeah. So refer back to our episode of Cabbage Patch Kids, but yeah, there's obviously more popular from a toy perspective.
Right. All right. The next one was a good one. Light Bright versus Spirographs.
Okay.
So
I'm making things with light bright makes them glow so bright.
Yeah, I always loved Light Brights. I never owned one, but my cousin had one. A couple of friends I knew had one. I thought they were awesome.
Yeah.
And
Light Bright was probably one of the first toys I remember playing with.
Oh yeah,
like early in my childhood, I had a Light Bright, and I think this is like pre-sister. So this is like when we're still living in California. Like my dad was still in the Navy. Like early Dave memory of the Light Bright, and yeah, it was such a simple thing too. It's a box with fucking translucent pegs.
Yeah, the black piece of paper.
Yep, and pink, and you put a thing in there. Yeah, it was. I think Light Bright pieces probably kicked around in my toy box until I was, old enough to move out of the house.
Right.
There was probably pieces. There was Light Bright like pegs in every area of my fucking house.
I wonder if you can hold on. We're doing this live. I wonder if you can get a Light Bright in good condition on eBay.
They might still make them.
No, there's no way. I haven't seen one of these in a store in 30 years.
What were you looking for it though?
No.
They got some goofy shit out there right now for toys, by the way.
Well, for $11 you can get all the fucking pegs in the world.
Okay.
We've got unused and unpunched blank refill paper, $18.
I'm pretty sure that was black construction paper. Like
probably.
That,
yeah.
It's not like Light Bright branded paper, and if there was, like nobody in the world fucking bought it.
Yeah, no, there's some on eBay for $10 for the whole shebang. So I may have to get myself.
He's going to make things with light.
We'll make a Star Killer Studios.
There you go.
Fucking thing with a Light Bright. Put it right there.
Light Bright makes it glow so bright.
All right. Anyway, Light Bright won 74% to 26%.
Very good. What was Spirograph? I know what the Spirograph was. Yeah, I know people that had it.
It's almost like a thing that's on a gear, and you draw, you do designs. It's
sidebar.
It's more for artistic people.
I have an Uncle Bob that designs toys. I think I mentioned him on the podcast.
Yeah, because he met John Williams on the train one time. And
so one of the toy designs that he did a few years back, like he holds all these patents for a bunch of toy designs. And
we need to find out what those are, and we need to have him on the show.
Dude, yeah, I have to go to the house and because he's real fucking, he doesn't talk about that stuff. Like he's real modest. But like you go on the wall one of the walls in this house, like going from the living room to the kitchen, has all these like bronze. Apparently, when you get a patent for something, like it's in bronze, and they like so he has all of these things like on the wall.
Nice.
So yeah, it's very interesting. But it was a Spirograph style toy, like interacting with something. I think he was still working for Tyco.
Huh.
But anyway, yeah,
interesting. All right, next one. Color forms versus Shrinky Dinks. So Shrinky Dinks won pretty handily, 65% to 35%. I actually picked color forms. I remember those, and I actually remember using those more than I ever did a Shrinky Dink. I think we did a Shrinky Dink in my house one time ever growing up. But the color forms, I remember those. Those were a lot of fun.
What's the difference between the two things?
The color forms are the things where, see, it's got like the little canvas, and then you've got the little stickery magnet things, and you can, you know, take them off and put them into, you can basically do scenes and shit with them.
Yeah.
Where Shrinky Dinks are the ones that you just, you put in the fucking oven.
Yep. We had Shrinky Dinks in the house. I remember doing Shrinky Dinks, like coloring them, going through the whole thing, and then like put it on a piece of wax paper and you throw it in the oven and, you know, watch it melt. You know, stand there staring there like, what a great idea for a toy to occupy a child for fucking 10 minutes, right? Like, okay, I want you to sit here and stare inside the oven and you're going to get to watch it shrink. Like, okay, you stay right there because if you walk away, you're going to miss it. So now your kid's fucking staring at the oven.
Yeah, what a great babysitting tool.
I don't want to miss it.
All right, moving on. We've got Popples versus glowworms. So glowworms won pretty handily in this one, 73% to 27%.
Right.
I remember both. I didn't own both. My sister owned both of these.
Right.
But I remember enjoying the Popples all the time because I'd take her Popple and I'd always just put it in a ball and then pop it out. Put it in a ball, pop it out.
Yeah.
The glowworms were awesome too. Glowworms, very iconic.
Yeah.
For our childhood. But for me, I really enjoyed the Popples.
I think I chose glowworm for this, and the reason being, my sister Kathy, right, the older of my two younger sisters, like she had a glowworm like in the crib with her, and
nice.
She apparently at some point I either like tossed a glowworm to her or something like that. I don't know if you remember, like we talked about it with the Cabbage Patch Kid episode. The Cabbage Patch Kids were fucking like lacrosse balls. They were so fucking solid, right?
Yeah.
Well, the glowworm was the same thing. It was a hard fucking plastic head.
Oh no.
So yeah, I apparently hit my sister in the fucking head with a glowworm, and it probably gave her brain damage. Like I am so sorry. But that's my memory of glowworms is hitting my sister with it, or my sister getting hit with it. And like it being turning into a huge thing in the fucking house because you're basically swinging a fucking baseball bat, you know, at some poor unsuspecting kid. Oh yeah, by the way, it glows, whatever.
Yeah, but the batteries never lasted very long.
Yeah,
they always ran out.
Yeah, Don's got it in the chat. Glowworms were in fact a weapon.
Yeah, for sure. All right, almost done. We've got tricycles, just standard tricycles versus big wheels. So I mean, you got to go with big wheels on this. The commercials alone,
big wheels were the shit. I mean, I have a picture of me as a toddler, you know, on a tricycle. Like we had tricycles at my grandparents' house, but at home, you had the big wheel.
Yeah, see, I've got a picture of me as like a 4 or 5 year old kid on a big wheel.
Yeah, we had. So again, early childhood memories. It was when my dad had got out of the Navy. We moved back to the East Coast, and we're in this apartment complex. And my big wheel got stolen.
What?
Right. Yeah. In this apartment complex. And it was like this, again, early trauma as a child, right? These fucking older kids stole my fucking big wheel. And when we did get it back, like it had the big wheels had that fucking the plastic tires, right? Oh, yeah. So when you're jamming on the fucking brakes all the time, right, with the front wheel, you get this like you start developing like a flat spot.
Oh yeah.
So when I got it back, it basically had a permanent fucking flat on the front tire, like because the older kids fucking beat the shit out of it.
Fuckers.
But I remember I got it for Christmas and fucking I remember putting the stickers on and everything and going out and fucking doing it.
Oh yeah, they were great. Doing the Tokyo Drift on them.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny too, because you think of it as a kid, like I remember my first bike, you know, my first like BMX style bike, and all that other shit. And then as you know, you kind of grow older, like we rode bikes everywhere. Like I don't know how it was with you, but
there was a period of time in my early like teen and preteen years where I was riding bikes all the time.
That's all you did.
Everywhere.
Like you knew what was going on in a neighborhood by where the fucking bikes were congregated.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember distinctly, like same thing with when we graduated from big wheels to bikes, like the same shit that you're like skidding out on your fucking BMX bike with the coaster brake, right? You hit your foot back, right? Because we couldn't afford fucking the bikes with real brakes, right? So it just had the coaster brake on it.
Mm-hmm.
Lock that fucking wheel up and slide a flat spot onto your fucking your tires.
Oh yeah, my fucking driveway. Because we lived in a fairly new house when I got this one bike. Constant like tire skid marks everywhere from my bike.
And I had red tires. I had this red Huffy. I remember getting it from Discount Harry's. It was a fucking place in Pennsauken, and you go and you fucking pick the bike. You're like, yeah, I want that one. And it was like I think I got it for my birthday. And yeah, I remember getting that thing, and it was a white metal frame, weighed like fucking 50 children.
Yeah,
right, heavy as all hell, but had these bright red tires on them. And over the years, like I fucking wore a hole in them. You know, you wear it down to the fucking metal.
Oh, of course.
Right. So then the tires keep popping. So it's like, all right. The beauty of having those as a kid is like you go around the neighborhood and kids were like throwing away tires, that you'd see them. Like, oh, well, you're throwing away that tire. That tire's in better shape than mine is. So then it goes from, when a new bike and having two red tires to at some point having like a blue tire and a fucking white tire, or, regular black tires. You go to Kmart and fucking buy yourself a new tire and a tube,
right.
If you could. But yeah, so I think the only time I ever actually had fresh tires on that bike was when it was brand new.
No,
everything else after that was fucking,
nice.
Oh, here's one that's used just slightly less than mine.
Good times. All right, last one. The Snoopy snow cone machine versus the Easy Bake Oven. This was a little bit closer. The snow cone machine won 61% to 39%.
I'm actually surprised.
Well, I voted for the snow cone machine myself.
Same.
Now, I didn't have either of these growing up. No exposure, no nothing. But I remember the commercials for the snow cone machine. And I was thinking, God, I'd love to have that. I'd love to make my own fucking snow cones. This is, I was in California too. So where it was hot fucking 9 months out of the year. So yeah, no, all I ever wanted was one of those Snoopy snow cone machines. And never got one, but I do remember it. And I do remember wanting it a lot.
I had one.
Did you?
And I don't remember ever actually making a snow cone.
Really?
It was one because I had a affinity for Snoopy as a kid. Like I had a stuffed Snoopy and a Woodstock. Those were like stuffed animals for me as a kid. That's something that always had to be in my in my bed. It's kind of like a whoopee.
Okay.
So I had this Snoopy and Woodstock. So I had a bunch of Snoopy stuff, Snoopy sheets, right? I still have some of my Snoopy sheets. Actually, they're like the kids call them. They were our 6 sheets. Because, if you're not feeling well, you're homesick, you're running a fever or something, like put you on the couch and like, okay, here's the 6 sheets. And you put the Snoopy sheets on. And ironically, Kathy, when she was growing up, had the same sheets, like these Snoopy sheets. So yeah, Snoopy was a thing. So we had the Snoopy snow cone maker, but it was kind of like, here's a Snoopy thing for the room. Not necessarily.
But you never actually used it.
I don't remember using it. We probably did, but I don't remember using it for that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. And again, the snow cone machine went out. So thank you to Lunar Girl for this week's This or That. Be sure to tune in every. I think she posted this last one on Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, right before the weekend.
Yeah. So right before the weekend, these polls go up again on Instagram at GenXPOV. Check our stories. She's been really good with that stuff. So thank you. And we will see you next week. Dave's distracted in the chat.
Right.
Do you have anything else you want to bring up before we get into our weeks?
No, let's get into our weeks.
All right. So should be a fairly short one for me this week. First of all, I just realized I haven't given you guys a gym update in at least 2 to 3 weeks. Like, I know I didn't talk about the gym last week.
I find that hard to believe, but okay.
I know. But so anyway, I'm still going 5 days a week. I saw my trainer this last weekend, and we did the. Have you ever done the body fat and muscle composition test where you stand on the fucking machine and you grab the 2 levers and it shoots the shit through you, and basically it tells you, it measures your body fat and your muscle mass.
Right.
And, we did one the first day that he and I started together, and it's been 2 months now. And we did it again on Saturday. And so since the last time that we did this, I've gained 1.5 pounds of muscle and lost 0.5 pound of fat.
Nice.
So, yeah. And we did a chest workout together. He said I've improved so much just since the last time he and I worked together. So I'm like, fuck yeah. And, oh, by the way, here's a great story. So I had to drop Kristen off at work on Friday.
Okay.
Because I took my car to the shop, had to get some work done. And
you finally got the brakes fixed?
Yes, actually I did. And the headlight too. The headlight's been out for like a year. So anyway, it was more than just a light bulb. I could have changed the light bulb myself. It was the whole fucking fixture.
Sure.
Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So I dropped Kristen off at work, and she goes in and she's talking to one of her coworkers, and I'm doing some shopping, and I swing by and I say bye, and like all of her coworkers there. Apparently, after I turned around and walked away, like one of them made a comment to her, like, "Oh man, his arms are huge," kind of like a "way to go, Kristen" kind of thing. And
nice.
She told me about that after the fact. I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" So it's little things like that.
It's all coming together.
Exactly. So, and I'm actually starting to notice a bit of a difference. I don't know if you can see this on the screen, but I'm actually noticing a pretty significant increase in muscle mass. So I'm pretty happy with that.
You should be.
Yeah. And then, of course, with the weather becoming what it is, I actually was able to run outside for the first time over the weekend, which you know me, I've always been a big runner.
Yeah.
But I don't do it in the cold because fuck that.
Yeah, because fuck that.
Yeah. So, but I was actually able to run outside for the first time.
Why go outside when the air hurts your face to go exercise?
It hurts to be out here. I don't want to do it. So that's that. All right. I've talked about our Vegas trip, right?
Yep.
Couple of things have happened since last week. I had been potentially planning a trip back home to California over the 4th of July weekend.
Okay.
My mother's birthday is July 3rd. 4th of July in California is still pretty lit, no pun intended, because they still do their own personal fireworks out here.
Nice.
That was something that kind of blew my mind when I first got to Jersey back in the late 90s.
Right.
Was the fact that you guys don't do personal fireworks out here.
Well, because they were illegal. You know why it is? It's the fact that this is the most populated state per square mile.
Right.
So if something bad is going to happen, it's going to happen to a whole bunch of people. There's very few areas where, well, in South Jersey, we have a little bit more space, like when you get to the south of where we are right now. But where we're sitting right now is in this county is so fucking densely populated. It's fucking ridiculous.
Right. So, and yeah, you also have a lot more trees than we have out there and everything else.
I didn't even think of that.
But yeah, anyway, so personal fireworks out in California is always a fucking blast, dude.
Right.
Oh, I could tell so many stories. We'll save that for like a 4th of July episode. But anyway, yeah, my dad came through with something that he was trying to do. He had some American Airlines credits that he wanted to transfer me. Well, it worked. And me and my oldest son, Rob, are going back out to California over the 4th of July weekend.
Nice.
So we'll be out there for a week. And in addition to that, I just found out yesterday that I'm probably going on a work trip out to California at the end of April. Nice. So I am literally going to California for a week for work, coming home for like 2 days, going to Vegas for a week, coming home for like 3 weeks or about a month, and then going back to California again. So
nice.
I've got a lot of travel in my immediate future.
It's good
coming up.
I haven't gone anywhere at all, so I'm super jealous.
Yeah.
So July. Yeah, so we'll figure out the podcast. So they're all that shit like we do.
Yeah, we'll probably have to do some like pre-recording and everything. But
I'm thinking, July 3rd. It's also my youngest sister's birthday.
Oh no, shit.
On July 3rd.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So the only other thing I had was talking about how busy things are. There's something I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and I feel like now is the time that I need to start doing it. I'm doing some pre-planning, but I want to start doing some extra content creation.
Mm-hmm.
You know me, I've always been a huge retro gamer, and we've covered a lot of retro game stuff on the show. I want to start making actual like YouTube videos. Like I bought this program, Camtasia, which is a amazing video editing program. I bought the full license for it, and I barely use the damn thing. And the intent was always to like make some really cool videos, put them up on YouTube or whatever. So I'm finally going to start doing that, I think. And I'm going to kind of do like sort of my own side retro gaming thing. Like we'll continue to talk games here on the podcast too, but I think as an extra extension to the brand, I want to start putting together some personalized videos where I kind of do some deeper cuts into some retro gaming stuff that I know you probably wouldn't be interested in.
Sure.
But yeah, it's something I've been wanting to do, and I think I'm going to start producing the videos and everything probably within the next month. Okay. But I don't think I'm going to be able to have them in any kind of releasable form until after my last trip in July.
Yeah, because you're going to want to, you want it to have a nice production value and everything else.
Yeah, I want to take the time and actually, put in the effort and, not just throw on a camera and hit record and go.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Make sure you talk to Vickers. If you're looking for tips on
Well, I've never met the guy before, so
I mean, he may even be in the chat right now. But yeah, some of the stuff that he's putting out right now is phenomenal.
Yeah,
he's doing really, really good work. So yeah, if you're looking for tips, that's the
the tip.
Dave, what's your Twitch tag? I think it's Philly Dave 75.
I wonder why she's asking.
Maybe it's not this Dave. Maybe it's the other Dave.
Who? Dave?
Dave's not here.
Who is it?
Anyway,
man. So yeah, no, that's my week in a nutshell. Not a whole lot going on, but I'm going to be busy, going to be traveling a lot, and then eventually put out some videos.
Awesome. Summertime, man.
Yeah.
So everything starts moving and shaking.
Hell yeah.
So you're not going to talk about this fucking sweet setup we got?
I mean, we talked about the TV last time, but so behind Dave, I've got one of the old school CRT TVs set up with one of my original NESs hooked up to it. So we've now got the original old school experience playing an NES on an old school TV.
Yeah.
No HD, no fucking NES Classic, none of that. An actual NES controller. Yeah. We fired up Super Mario Brothers earlier, and I got to practice.
Yeah, you're out of practice for sure. But yeah, it's fucking awesome. Like hearing the hum of the CRT and then, like the spin up for the fucking NES. It was fucking cool. Yeah. It was really cool.
Good shit.
Who would?
Are you done fucking around over there? Because it's your week.
It's my week apparently.
That's what I'm telling you. Yes.
Is it? All right. I got distracted by my trying to figure out what the hell my Twitch handle is. Yeah, it's Philly Dave 75.
Oh my god, is that what you've been trying to find this whole time?
Yeah. Lunar Girl asked. She runs our social media. I thought it was important.
All right,
dude. I'm stalling because I really don't have any. Dude. This week, like most weeks, it just kind of like clicks by. Just because it feels like I'm always fucking busy, but. I got my haircut on Friday, finally. Like, it was getting to the point, like, it felt so long. Like, you almost can't tell. Like, I wear a hat all the time.
Right, yeah.
So, you really can't.
I never could have told you that you had long hair.
It's not the top of my head that gets long. It's, like, around here, like, when it starts touching my ears and it starts touching the back of my neck. Drives me insane. Like, I feel every fucking hair follicle on my body. Wow. At any given moment, and like feeling that longer hair like touch things like my shirt collar or something like that makes me want to fucking basically slice my fucking own throat. Wow. So
very dramatic
by fucking dude, Kathy will tell you, man, like I get fucking twitchy like when my hair is too long. It's a thing.
I mean, it sounds like you need to upgrade to my barber.
Yeah,
Mach 3 doesn't go wrong.
So I do not have the fucking head shape to pull off the fucking bald. I just don't. And I don't like my hairline has receded to this point and it hasn't moved. So I'm happy with that.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's around here. Like I can never do fucking longer here because for fucking actually most of my life. In fact, pretty much all my life. Even when I had it went through my skater phase where I had fucking long hair on top and it was kind of like the thing.
Yeah.
It was always like cut around here. I think a lot had to do with my grandfather. Like there's no way he was going to have some fucking hippie.
Well, yeah, you came from a military family. Your father, your grandfather, all military guys.
Yeah. So but yeah, anytime that my fucking hair starts getting long and touch my ears, it's like getting that haircut finally. And honestly, it's not really COVID related or anything else. Like the girl who cuts my hair, it's like she's been busy, and then a lot of times I forget. And I'm like, God, all right, I'll think about it tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and goes, and I'm really annoyed by my hair, but never actually go through and fucking go get a haircut. It's fucking weird. It's the whole ADHD thing. So anyway, I got my fucking haircut, and it was glorious. It's so much better. Like, you know, the second you walk outside, and Friday and Saturday, it was fucking beautiful, right?
Yeah.
So it's getting outside and like actually feeling like the air touch my head. I'm like, oh, this is so nice. Right. The shit that fucking makes you happy, you know, when you get to a certain point in your life. It's just
people with hair problems.
Yeah. Oh, I think about it when it's all nice and fresh. It's like, oh, it's so nice. Yeah. And then I immediately put a hat on and fucking it's going through the, hey, do you want gel in it question? Like, no, I'm just gonna, that hat that I wore in here, I'm going to put right back on my head and be grateful for my fucking haircut. Why I spend money for somebody that actually knows what they're doing to cut my hair when I could probably do the same thing around
potentially.
Anyway, yeah, so I got a haircut. That was really the big thing. And like Saturday was spent doing like yard work, and you know, Kathy worked on Saturday, so like I finally dragged my ass out of the house, try to eke out every little bit of that fucking 70-degree weather.
Oh, it was phenomenal.
And just like I didn't want to spend a second inside. So did a bunch of yard work, you know, overdid it. Of course. As
you do.
Yeah, of course. So, and thankfully it was supposed to rain on Sunday. So I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I'm going to make sure I do everything on Saturday since I know Sunday is going to suck.
Which it did.
And it did. So it worked out, except for today when I woke up and I could barely fucking move. Because it's never the day after. It's always the day after the day after.
Yeah.
That you feel like you got hit by a fucking bus. And that's where I'm at. So
awesome.
It was worth it. It was worth it to be outside and do a bunch of shit. Like I thatched the front yard finally. And
thatched?
Yeah. So like you basically you rake, like take a metal rake and you take out all the dead grass and stuff over the winter, like, and you get it down. I actually threw some grass seed down too. Yeah, it's
so you put in some effort.
I try. Like I should have put in more effort last year since we're home all the fucking time, and I just didn't. So this year I'm making a considerable effort to do just that. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
I still find it hilarious that the highlight of your week was getting a haircut.
A haircut.
I mean, how old are we now that this is our lives? I got a haircut. Yes.
I don't know, but it was fucking glorious. I'm glad I did it.
Yeah. All right. Do you need a break or anything before we get into our main topic?
No, I'll pee right in the middle of the fucking thing.
Okay, sure. Fuck it. We'll do it live as we do. So
wait for it to get a little darker out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the weird thing right now. Peeing outside when the leaves haven't fully grown back and the bushes in front of the studio.
And everyone's out walking their dog and shit.
We're out there pissing, just waving to the neighbors. Hey, micro machines.
Yes.
So a really interesting topic because of, I think, where it first debuted in relation to our childhoods. So we're going to get into that. And as we always do, figured we'd start off with our history. So I will begin. This is the thing. Growing up, toy cars were never really my thing. I recall having a couple. And I know some kids my age were like big into like the Hot Wheels or the Matchboxes or whatever. Never my thing because I was always swept up in whatever it was at the time. Started with Star Wars, went to He-Man. That was a good 5-6 years of my childhood, of my toy playing experience right there. And then, like we talked about before, fucking Thundercats, Transformers, G.I. Joe. What was the other big one? There was one other really big one that took up like all of my like toy time growing up. Anyway,
I don't know. You put me on the spot. I can't fucking think of anything.
But
did you do the mask?
I had like one mask vehicle, but regardless. So yeah, the toy cars were never a thing for me. And I would play with them sometimes when I'd go to like a friend's house or something, but it not my thing. And then of course, 87, when these came around, was also the time where I got my first NES.
Right.
And as soon as I got my NES, like that was it. Toys were fucking done for me for a long time.
Right.
Because then it was all about the fucking video games. So as far as when the micro machines came out, I was aware of them. I knew what they were. I was very intrigued by the concept, the micro fucking cars. Who doesn't think that's kind of cool?
Right.
When all you've known up to that point is the Hot Wheels cars, right? The old style die-cast and everything else. And then they come out with these fucking micro machines. Well, that's kind of neat. Again, not really my thing because I wasn't that big into cars at that point. They became my thing a little bit later on, which we'll talk about. Though I do know my brother had a bunch of them when they first came out because he was at that right age,
right,
where it wasn't all about the video games for him, and he liked toys. And I remember he had a ton of micro machines. So something else that I forgot to mention too. Well, we'll bring it up as we go along.
All right.
Just remind me later to come back to something.
You want me to remind you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, later on. When they started doing the licensing stuff, that's when my ears perked up for things like the Star Wars micro machines and the Star Trek. And I know you mentioned both of those as well. So as we go along and talk about those, we'll we'll kind of circle back around.
All right.
But yeah, the Star Wars was a big thing. And we're going to kind of close with a story once we get to that point in the show. But for now, what about you? What was your history with micro machines like?
Listen, I was super into, I had all kinds of cars. It's funny when we talk about stuff like this and, talk about toys and shit like that. And it's like, at the moment, you don't think that you have like a lot of different toys. But in reality, like if we're just talking about our toy boxes and like what's in the toy boxes besides little pieces from the light bright,
right?
One of my first real interactions with like toys was with cars, with Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars. I think I talked about it a little bit on the show when we were talking about like Smurfs, the Cherry Hill Mall, which is still around.
Yep.
Pretty
close to here.
If I had been a good boy, I after church, because we would go to church in Merchantville, we would swing by the Cherry Hill Mall and I'd be allowed to go into the toy store there, and they had Smurfs. So so they had Smurfs and they also had Matchbox cars there. So depending on what I was kind of feeling, like I'd be able to go in there and buy a Matchbox car. So but this is when Matchbox cars were still in the boxes.
Yeah.
Like you had that display and you like kind of spun the display around to see what cars were out. And we had, I guess because I have an uncle that was younger than my father and his brother. And he had Matchbox, the Hot Wheels. Remember the orange track?
Oh yeah.
So they had
the piece of plastic that you would clip the two,
which you'd always fucking lose, and you take a piece of cardboard and fucking stick it in there so you'd have it. So I like had track left over from my uncle, and then I had my own track. So I had Hot Wheels cars and Matchboxes that would run on the fucking orange track, and that was part of the thing. So and I collected Matchbox cars for a hot minute in like the late 90s where I was just collecting them. Like I still have hundreds of carded Matchbox cars, in storage. So when the Micro Machine stuff came out, it was like another way to get like a car.
Sure.
But the irony is that I don't remember a lot of those cars. Like thinking back on it, I had, I remember having the cars, but then when the ones with the lights came out, like, I had a handful of those.
Top and it would light up.
But what was the beauty of the Micro Machines was if you got them, you got like 4 or 5 at a time.
Right. Because they all came in like a pack of
so it was, you go to Toys R Us and it was expensive. It was more expensive than a Matchbox car, but you got fucking almost half a dozen toys at one fucking shot.
Yeah.
So, and I think that was part of the huge draw. I mean, we're going to talk about it later, but Micro Machines ended up outselling Matchbox, Hot Wheels, and fucking Ertl, like not even close.
Yeah.
All 3 of those guys put together weren't selling it like the Micro Machines were. So we'll get into specific Micro Machines, I think, later.
Sure.
But yeah, I had like the little aircraft carrier. I had the Star Trek, some of the Star Trek ones, and then we're going to talk about the Star Wars ones at length a little bit later. But yeah, it was a cool thing. And listen, it was something that you could have in your pocket at church, right? So you could sneak a couple micro machines in and fucking have them in church. And you could with Matchbox cars to a point, but it made a lot of noise when it was on the fucking pew if you weren't paying attention.
Right.
But the little get a micro machine. You can have a couple micro machines in your pocket, and nobody would be none the wiser. So you could have toys with you all the time.
That's great. Lunar Girl just mentioned something really interesting in the chat. They couldn't have micro machines in her house because her mom kept having babies until 1985, and they were a choking hazard.
They were in fact a choking hazard.
Yeah. So thankfully, by the time they came out in 87, all of my siblings were old enough to know to not fucking swallow toys.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, that's an interesting point, and I'm sure in my research, I didn't hear anything about kids dying from choking on fucking micro machines, but I'm sure it happened. I'm sure they at least ingested a couple.
Yeah.
Throughout the country.
Yeah. In talking about kind of the history of the micro machines, they weren't the first like small car thing, like smaller than Matchbox car thing. In fact, as I remember, having some toy cars that had you put a penny in the back of it.
I do remember those too, the penny cars.
Yeah.
But they also they were the ones that
you pulled them back
and they
but the penny would just enough weight where it would do a fucking trick or something. So I remember those. They were smaller than a Matchbox car, but bigger than a micro machine.
Right, but not much bigger. I do remember them being fairly small.
Yeah,
and it was before micro machines. This was long before.
Was it before? See, it's tough. Everything, all that time starts to mesh together. When did I actually have these fucking toys?
Because we're going to talk about how some of the companies started knocking off micro machines, but I think those came before. I'm almost positive.
I believe it.
Yeah. Fuck. Jamie, find that. So anyway,
get on that.
Kind of moving into some of the facts here. It started in 87, and I was going to read this little blurb from the Wikipedia article. The idea for micro machines was conceived by Clemens V. Hedin Jr. and Patty Jo Hedin, his wife, in their toy shop of Fun City, USA in Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin, shortly after they got into the toy business. The inventors talked with someone from Galoob at Toy Fair who said they wanted to develop a new, reasonably priced car line. Work was done with their model maker designer to prepare 24 micro cars and packaging. So the rest is kind of history at that point. Fun fact, this guy, Clemens and his wife, well, they got divorced, but his new wife and him are still designing toys to this day.
What an amazing, I spoke briefly about my uncle, still designing toys, but the fact that you can be a toy designer still. Yeah. And the idea that in the 80s, you could have your own toy company and you'd actually make money. These days, you only
it's all corporatized now. Yeah.
The idea, I guess, is to make something popular enough where you can sell it to the bigger company, which is what ends up happening with the micro machine stuff.
Oh, well, it happened here with Galoob, which we're going to get into. So, yeah. And like you said, immediately, micro machines started outselling Hot Wheels, Matchbox, all of those combined. It was immensely popular. And again, I know tons of people who had them. It was just the kids that were just a little bit younger than our generation because, by 87, I was 11 years old. You were probably 12, 13. So yeah, we were starting to outgrow that kind of stuff, but the popularity could not be denied. And a huge part of that popularity came from the television commercials. A young man by the name of John Machida Jr., who is known as the world's fastest talking person, started doing commercials for them. Now, he had originally started off doing FedEx commercials. Apparently, there's some pretty iconic FedEx commercials that he did. But very soon after that, he started getting some acting gigs, and he got this Micro Machines commercial gig. I guess over the course of 12 years, he must have done 200 commercials for them. And I remember the guy, so you know who we're talking about, right? The fast talking guy. The thing that I remember him from the most is from Saved by the Bell. Do you remember that one episode that he was in where he was a teacher?
No.
Oh my God. It was so funny because he was a history teacher. And but he taught in the fast voice. And all the kids are like, "What the fuck?" You know, as they're trying to like take notes and study. And
you're talking about the Tower of Babel or something, and he's fucking going a mile a minute.
Yeah,
that's fucking hilarious. I love that.
Yeah, no, it was really good there because there's a scene where he's like, "As always, we have a lot to cover, so let's begin. We'll begin with this." And they're all trying to follow and take notes. It was fucking hilarious. So, but yeah, that was their hook, was the fast talking guy with the micro machines, and it all just kind of worked.
Yeah,
at that point.
And it really, aside from getting the guy because he was kind of doing good voice work and stuff like that, like there's really no connection to. Like, it's not like micro machines go fast.
No.
Like honestly, like from a car perspective, like, and as being a Matchbox car connoisseur, right?
Mm.
Like Matchbox and Hot Wheels have kind of traded like quality at some point. So like at one point, Matchbox cars were a little bit higher quality than Hot Wheels, and then kind of goes back and forth, right?
Yeah.
But because of the track, like and rolling on these old tracks, like you get an idea like which cars actually will go better, because like especially if you're building a loop or something like that, you want the wheels to spin like decent. Micro machines, not so much. They weren't really meant to fucking. They moved. The wheels moved and shit like that, so it wasn't like subpar like that. But the little axles, like I can distinctly, like thinking about it right now, I can remember breaking those fucking little.
And I remember the little tiny wheels too.
Yeah, so they weren't. They came out later with a line that was actually like a more, a higher end micro machine where like it rolled better, but it was never meant for fucking going fast.
Right.
Unless you're going to throw them through the air, right?
Well, that you could do pretty easily.
Yeah, you fucking load it up in a Nerf gun and throw it. Although, no, they had it. It was in that video we watched. They had like this thing that shot it down a track. Like it looked like a fucking... like a floor cleaner,
right?
Soonk, and it fucking it just shoots them. Like, yeah, anything will go fast if you do it like that.
Yeah, and it wasn't long after, because they were so successful, that other companies immediately started copying them.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a story about this company called Funrise, who made a bunch of knockoffs, which I'll tell in a minute, but. Because of that, I think Hot Wheels had gotten into the micro business.
Mm-hmm.
Like this Funrise came out, and their whole line of toys was just basically micro machines. They just weren't called micro machines,
right?
And yeah, a lot of knockoffs came out, to the point where micro machines started adjusting their commercials, and they would end every one of their commercials with the statement, "If it doesn't say micro machines, it's not the real thing."
Yep.
Because there were so many knockoffs that were, pretending to be micro machines, but they weren't that actual brand.
And let's face it, as a kid, like sometimes the toys that you had it was a status symbol, right?
Yeah.
Having knockoff shit wasn't necessarily like going to serve you well when you're fucking playing in the playground.
Sure.
Like you're talking about, these things came out at a point where, I was older, so it really that stuff didn't really matter to me. But as a younger kid, some of those toys, like for sure, like, oh man, that's some knockoff fucking Hot Wheels car,
right?
Like, oh, this thing is bullshit. We're gonna stick a firecracker in it and blow it up.
Yeah,
we may or may not have done a lot.
So speaking of these, after going back and doing this research, I realized something that I did have, micro machine wise, was actually a knockoff. So in 1989, Back to the Future 2 came out.
Okay,
I don't know how much I've talked about this on the show. I was fucking obsessed with Back to the Future around this time frame.
Right.
Like, I really enjoyed the first movie. I loved the concept. And then when the sequel came out and I saw Back to the Future 2 in theaters, I was fucking obsessed. Like, I was obsessed with the fucking franchise. I was obsessed with the concept of time travel, all of it.
Yeah.
I was all in. And this Funrise came out with a set of Back to the Future licensed cars. They had the DeLorean, the fucking future cop car, and the future taxi cab from Back to the Future 2.
Okay.
And there was also like a little play set, like a little Texaco play set and stuff. And I got those because I loved Back to the Future so fucking much. I bought those, not realizing it was one of the knockoff micro machine brands, but I didn't fucking care at that point. I had a little fucking DeLorean,
Yep.
And so I don't know if you remember Back to the Future 3, with the train that was pushing the DeLorean and everything. Micro Machines actually came out with a steam engine train that looked exactly like the fucking train
from Back to the Future 3. So obviously I had to buy it, and it came with a track, and I was able to put the fucking little DeLorean on the track with the fucking train right behind it and push it.
That's
so
fucking hilarious.
Yeah. So what little exposure I did have to Micro Machines was due to some of the licensing stuff. Started with what I thought was Back to the Future. Again, doing the research now, I realized, oh, that was Funrise, not Micro Machines. Because I went on to fucking eBay last week. I'm like, I wonder if I can find those Back to the Future cars again. And they're on there. They're not that expensive either. And then I saw on the packaging Funrise. I'm like, oh, that's that company they mentioned in that video that we watched. So, but then I did the research on the train and like, what was that? I'm pretty sure the train was Micro Machines, and it was. So, which you can also get on eBay for a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
So,
because if it doesn't say Micro Machines,
it's not the real thing. We get into the licensing stuff, right? So, in the early 90s, because yeah, this was while I was still in high school, when George Lucas started like realizing like, fuck, you know, Star Wars is my bread and butter. I got to get this shit out there. I'm, you know, working on these prequels that'll be out at the end of the decade and the special editions and all that stuff. So we need to push Star Wars merchandising again. So that's when you came out with the line of toys. I don't know if I have any in here right now, but the you know, the standard action figure size toys from the early to mid 90s, that whole reissue, along with the Star Wars Micro Machines lines.
right?
And when those came out, even though, you know, now I'm in high school, not really playing with toys anymore, still loved fucking Star Wars. And when I saw they were doing this, I'm like, oh, I gotta have those. And you know what it was the thing that really, I guess, kicked it off for me, that convinced me like, I'm fucking buying these. Seeing the little Star Destroyer in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, because how else would you
that.
have a fucking Star Destroyer?
Right.
Like, there was no, like, unless you went to fucking a model store and bought a model of it, there was no toy.
No, because
like,
it would have been too fucking big.
Yeah.
So
think of the Lego set that fucking you put together. Those things are ginormous. Oh, totally.
So not only did I buy the pack that had like the Star Destroyer, the fucking TIE Fighter, and then like an X-Wing in it, I bought a second one that had a Star Destroyer and a TIE Fighter and X-Wing, and a third one, and a fourth one.
Yeah.
And
because there's more Star Destroyers and X-Wings.
Yeah. So by the end of my buying spree back in high school, because I did have a job at this point, I had like a whole fucking massive fleet on both sides of fucking X-Wings and fucking TIE Fighters. There were Death Stars.
Yeah.
The only Death Stars, I think, were the Death Star 2. I don't think they ever came out with a Death Star 1 Micro Machines. Yeah, they might have. But I remember only having DS2 because it had like the side that was like incomplete and everything.
Right.
And I had a couple of those. And then for some reason, they came out with these like bronzed over versions of everything. It was like the same fucking mold.
Yep.
But it was like all colored bronze for whatever reason.
It's almost like a gold plate.
Yeah.
Like looking thing.
But did not look like gold. Looked a lot more like bronze or copper.
Right.
Anyway, but I bought the shit out of those because they were unique. So yeah.
Where are those now?
Well, we're gonna talk about where those are now at the end when we talk about what happened to Galoob and everything, because I have a very, very cool story about that. When you know the story, I think you're just.
Oh, I do know that story. Yeah. It is.
So, but you know, talking about the licensing stuff, was there anything else you had to say about what you had, or?
Oh, I mean, hang on. I'm going to look at the notes here real quick. Yeah. So in 1997, right, it's well documented that in 96, 97 is when Jason and I got into the Air Force and went through basic training and tech school. And 97 being the year that the special editions came out, I was in Biloxi, Mississippi, and we would walk or take the trolley from the base to the movie theater in Biloxi there. That was on the other side of a fucking Toys R Us.
Yep, which neither of them are there anymore. It's now a Walmart.
I believe it.
Yeah.
So it's part of the fucking weekend, right? When these movies had come out, because I was there for basically all of 1997. So I got to see all of the fucking re-releases. But on the way, we'd go to Schlotsky's Deli.
And you're talking the special editions.
The special editions in 1997.
Yeah.
Go to Schlotsky's Deli, get a fucking sandwich, then go to fucking Toys R Us. And
oh, he brought a visual.
I to go to Toys R Us and buy things like this. So,
oh yeah, the play sets.
So I'll save this one for the last. These are the boxes aren't in great condition, but they're still new in box. They have the figures,
and it does say Micro Machine.
Yeah, these are the Star Wars Action Fleet Micro Machines.
Yeah.
So they basically made this slightly larger size. They're made of plastic,
specifically for Star Wars too.
A great level of detail on these. Yeah. I was enamored with it basically because of the level of detail. Like Jason's holding the TIE Interceptor, and I have a TIE Interceptor out of the package. If you want to. So what would end up happening is I would walk by the Toys R Us, buy one of these like basically once a week. And it got to the point where that's one of the original ones from buying them down in Mississippi.
Yeah.
I'd take it out of the package and I'd have it on my desk in the dorms. So on my desk, I had a bunch of fucking TIE fighters and shit. Right. Mm-hmm. So I was obsessed with these things. And I still have most of them. Like I have my, my Luke's X-Wing. I have a regular TIE fighter. It's on my desk. I'm still looking for a regular TIE fighter still in box. I'm trying to get, but this one's one of my favorites.
Oh, it's Slave One.
It's Slave One.
Oh shit.
New in box. I want to get as many of these as I can and new in the box.
What's in the box?
Because the Action Fleet stuff, it was so unique. It has the Micro Machines name on it.
Yes.
Right. But it's like,
oh, and hold on, let me just show the people real quick. On the side, you've got the Galoob.
Yeah. You can see the Galoob on there. And that one still has a price tag on it, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, one of them does. I think it might be the one you're holding.
Is that one? What is that?
Oh, wait, no, there it is. My thumb was covering it. Yeah, $8.99 in 97.
Yeah, and so 1997 money, $8.99, and then just like the Slave one is great because it's got Han outside of the carbonite. It comes with the carbonite, and it's got a little Boba Fett in there,
which is awesome.
Yeah, and I'm not even really into Boba Fett, but the way this ship, the detail on these is so good.
Yeah, and
I just.
Like, honestly, the detail in this is better than the fucking 1983 or 80 toys.
Yeah, because it's like movie accurate scale and everything else.
Yeah.
I can tell you, like in the late 80s, before I got into high school, when I was like into the toys and stuff that I had, scaling started to bother me.
Oh, right? Yeah.
So whatever early OCD or any whatever you want to call it. But like, so I'm going to show it on the screen. Like I had this, let me see, I'm going to share a screen like this, and then I'm going to
riveting for the audio audience.
Share that screen, and then so I had.
Oh, I remember that, the aircraft carrier.
Yeah. So what's unique about this is, again, this was probably later in life where I wasn't necessarily that into the Micro Machine stuff, but I've always been into airplanes and shit like that.
Oh yeah,
my father, when he was in the Navy, the first boat he was on was the USS Hancock, which was basically end of Vietnam era flat top carrier, like basically converted from a World War II carrier. So it had an angled deck that was kind of like built into it like this. Like, so I could go into great detail about the differences between aircraft carriers and shit like that. So, but this old, it's conventional powered, World War II style, like the Midway, the Intrepid, this is called the Essex class fucking aircraft carrier. Anyway, the angled deck and the way this is presented is really similar to what the Hancock would have looked like. It was the CV-19. So having this representation of it was actually pretty cool. It was a neat toy. It had had a little, it came with a submarine, I think, and a couple of planes. I think I had more planes
which would make sense.
More planes than anything when it came to Micro Machines. But yeah, I would love to know where this ended up because it was a neat little representation. And for somebody that was super into planes and fucking especially military aviation and the Navy and shit like that. Like right now, this is on eBay for $35.
It's not bad.
It's not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it because.
Oh, there's the. Whoa, go back. Let's go back down. Is that the train?
No.
Oh no.
No, that's some sort of missile.
Well,
Military Scud missile.
Two to the right of that.
This one?
Yeah. Oh, that's not the
just a
steam
bunch of-
engine though.
No, it's a bunch of cars.
All right.
So anyway, yeah, those were.
Dave took himself out of the YouTube, though it looks like he took me out. Really, he took himself out. So, hold on,
And we're back.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, the aircraft carrier.
These
guys, I mean,
again, 1997, carrying one of these back from the fucking movie theater almost every time I went until they either ran out of them or, you know, I already had the one that they had in there. So then I wasn't getting them. And then we talk about like some of the diecast stuff. This is actually one of the 1996 diecast.
Check your mic. Reset your connector.
The 19. Whoops. Sound like an alien. Do I still sound like an alien?
I have no idea. Hopefully it's better. But yeah, this thing is beautiful. This TIE Fighter, the diecast, but this was also a Micro Machine brand?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was individually packaged of reverb. Uh-oh.
Oh, your echo's still really bad.
All right, hang on.
All right, I'm gonna timestamp the show and we're gonna pause the recording at the we'll say 1:13 mark.
Because it's probably not bad. Both mics are picking up broadcasting.
Oh, the mic on your fucking. Make sure you have the right mic selected when you went into StreamYard.
Shouldn't matter, right? Is it muted?
I don't know. Is it? When you went back into StreamYard, actually, yeah, make sure your mic is muted.
All right, how about now?
How does he sound now?
How about now? Does it sound like shit now? No idea.
All right. While they're
no response.
While they're responding, okay. It's better. Perfect.
All right.
All right. So,
well, since we're already paused,
we might as well take a break.
Yep.
Yeah, I was about to get up and go piss too. So, wave hi to the neighbors for me. It's not a week without technical difficulties. Though technically that was his fault because he X'd himself out of the StreamYard, which I know my picture was the one that went out, but we have the camera swapped. That camera is connected to his laptop. And that camera is connected to my computer. There's a method behind the madness. Trust me. It's the way it had to work out. So how's it going, Need Machines? Are we helping to fill the void in your lives? I can pose for the camera while we wait. Hold on, let me get a better. Oh, look at that. Oh. Hold on. Riveting, I know.
Dude, the fucking neighbor pulled up.
Oh,
and,
nice.
And went because he went into the side door of the house, which I never seen him do.
So that neighbor.
That's really
funny. David K literally finished all of Gen X and all things Star Wars today.
Damn. ATSW, that's a lot of fucking episodes.
Yeah, it was like 160 something.
Something, yeah.
Yeah. Holy shit. Well, thank you, David.
Yeah.
Do we know you? Who are you?
Yeah. Another David K.
Introduce yourself. Let us know. Are you in the Sidebar Cantina?
Leave a 5-star review.
Yes, all of the things.
Go pee. Are you peeing?
Oh, yeah. I might
Dude.
go in the house if the neighbors are out there.
I just had a league of their own pee too, man. It was like fucking.
You were out there forever. I'm like posing for the camera, waiting for you to come in.
I'm sure you were. Yeah, I can't believe I knocked this off. I'm apparently the case of the Mondays. Oh my god, I love these toys. These are they're so fucking cool. I should have brought the other one. Oh. Yeah, I'll show that one when Jason gets back. But yeah, like this tie interceptor. It's got. I didn't bring any of the figures with me, but the one standard tie that I have at home. It has like a removable engine compartment, which I was 21 years old while I was buying these toys, and I was fucking playing with them like I was damn 11-year-old. It was fucking great. But that was the beauty of my roommate in tech school was also kind of a nerd too, so it worked out. I was able to nerd out with those things, and plus I was 21. Does anybody notice this? I need to get better tape. He's kind of falling over.
All right. We ready to resume?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, let me just get my triceps.
Check this out. Ready?
Yeah.
See how they extend? Like each one
Is that
has
canon?
Probably.
All right. Give me a countdown.
Lunar Girls issuing directions. Ready?
And we're back. So, talking more about the licensing stuff. They licensed a bunch of shit. Star Trek that we talked about, Indiana Jones apparently had some Micro Machines, James Bond, and ultimately, as the interest in the normal Micro Machines kind of died down, the licensing is what kept them going for as long as they did. Because I think they made it into the late 90s. The early 2000s, strictly on the Star Wars brand, really.
Yeah. Because they were still pushing stuff out for Phantom Menace.
Yes.
When Phantom Menace came out.
Right. And I think it was soon after that is when everything kind of fell off. But in 1998, Hasbro actually bought out Galoob. That was because when the episode 1 stuff came out, the Micro Machine, it came out under the Micro Machine brand, but it was now Hasbro.
Right.
Who, to this day still has the Star Wars license for fucking toys. And but soon after that, like the whole Micro Machines toy line disappeared. The interesting thing was they kept the brand going through video games. There's half a dozen fucking Micro Machines video games out there.
I remember one of them.
Well, yeah, there's like 6 out there, and it started on the first PlayStation, and of course the racing games.
Right.
But I think the most recent one was released for the Xbox One.
No shit.
A year or 2 ago.
Wow.
So yeah, the Micro Machines has a bunch of video games, and the brand has survived through that, despite the Hasbro buyout and everything else. So this is where the story wraps around, talking about all the Star Wars Micro Machines I had. And you asked, well,
yes,
what happened to all of those? Well, I will tell you all this very interesting story. 2003, 2013, 2014 timeframe. Kristen and I are living on base. We know we're going to be buying a house soon, right? We're starting to really downsize. Every time we move, we like to downsize because we fucking hate moving and hate moving a bunch of shit.
Right.
That, oh God, for years, it was like the same boxes of shit that we never unpacked, that we moved from house to house to house.
Right.
It's like, why? Why are we doing this?
Excuse me.
So we were really minimizing. Plus, we knew this was going to be a pretty expensive endeavor. Buying a house, it ain't fucking cheap, folks.
Yeah.
You go to last week's episode about the money pit. So we started selling things that we had too. Had all these Star Wars micro machines. I'm like, well, God, I really love these things. Love Star Wars, but they've been in this fucking box for over 10 years. I'm not doing anything with them. Let me just go ahead and get some money for them. It'll free up some space. It'll give us some cash. Went on to eBay. Put them all up as a big buy it now thing. A couple $100, I think, because I compared I compared it to other auctions that were out at the time. And, you know, I priced it competitively, but enough to where I still made a good amount of money and didn't feel bad about it. Sold less than 24 hours. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. I wonder if there were some collectibles in there that I wasn't quite aware of or what. But I'm like, oh, well, fuck it. It's the nature of the game.
Yep.
Go to print the shipping label. I happened to glance at the shipping label. And the name on it was, you know, Jimbo, Jim Bob, or whatever. I'm like, okay. And right underneath that, care of Hasbro Incorporated. I'm like, wait, what? Did I just read that right? So I'm looking at it. I'm like, and then the location was the fucking Hasbro headquarters. I'm like, did Hasbro just buy my old Star Wars micro machines? So the guy, I Googled him and I found him on LinkedIn. And apparently he was a toy developer, like researcher and developer for fucking Hasbro toys. I'm like, is this for real? Like, what the fuck is going on here?
Right.
And I remember telling you about it. Like the next day at work, I'm like, dude, look at this.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah. A year later, The Force Awakens hits. And what does Hasbro do when The Force Awakens hits? They re-release Star Wars micro machines. Not only did they release new micro machines with the new shit from Force Awakens, some of the new vehicles, they also issued original vehicles. And if you look at those and you compare them to the fucking original micro machines that I bought back in the 90s, it's the exact same fucking mold. Exact same fucking mold. So I'm sitting here thinking, like, wait a minute. Did Hasbro just go out and buy a bunch of fucking old micro machines on eBay and just clone the fucking mold?
They went sneaky, fucking went on to eBay, just started pilfering them. Like, okay, well, it's worked once. We'll fucking do it again.
Yeah. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, holy fucking shit. So those micro machines that I sold to fucking Hasbro, some of them potentially could have been made to create the new molds for the fucking reissue micro machines that they put out in 2015.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I remember when all that was going down. It was just like jaw dropping, like WTF.
Yeah. Because that's when we were still flying together in the squadron. And I'm like, look at this. I'm sending this thing to fucking Hasbro.
Like, it was fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember all that shit going down.
And yeah, it was like less than 2 years later.
Yeah.
When the new Star Wars micro machines hit shelves.
And it's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, if you're going to do this, like, reach out to the person and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. Maybe we'll send you something else. You know?
Just send me like one package of the new fucking toy.
Yeah. Or use mine and then send it back to me.
Yeah, that too.
Hey, fucking. Now, so while we were talking, I'm on eBay and I'm looking at fucking Star Wars shit. I found the diecast like in package.
Oh, like that TIE Fighter
in the blister pack for $20.
Oh,
like in the package.
That's not bad.
I know.
Don't do it, man. You've already got one. Well, it's not in the package though.
It's not in the package. I mean,
Kathy, I apologize. I am in no way, shape, or form encouraging Dave to spend money on eBay.
Hey, look, I get an allowance. I can spend it on what I want. So,
all right, fair enough. So before we close this out, the only other thing we didn't really talk about was some of the weird shit that they were creating towards the end of the Micro Machines run. before they ended with the Star Wars stuff. They started doing like their own little Transformers. They did fucking transforming play sets. They did little robot men. They did the macro machines.
Yeah.
You remember that, where it was basically Hot Wheel sized micro machines?
Yeah.
So yeah, they got to a point where obviously, the novelty was wearing off of the micro machines, and they're like, fuck, we gotta keep pumping shit out. And the licensing was really the only thing that worked. Whereas like all this other shit, I vaguely remember these, like the ones you talked about, the ones that had the button on top and they would light
the lights
up.
came on.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's kind of cool, I guess. But
you think about like circa 1988, 1989 when that shit came out. Like, all right, so there's a little tiny battery in this thing.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. Changing that
concept.
Battery must be a nightmare.
I don't think it is. Changing that battery is not a thing.
Not
I'm willing to bet.
Yeah.
Like once you've pressed that thing enough times, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like boom, 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 boom,
boom. Yeah.
What? No. Anyway, sorry. Watch distractions. I really need to put everything on fucking do not disturb while I'm in the pod because I'm so easily distracted.
No, not you.
Yeah, me.
I'm
of all people.
I am shocked and chagrined, mortified and stupefied.
You are indeed chagrined. I did see while I was again researching on eBay. They have a TIE Pilot, like a TIE Pilot helmet.
Oh, the one that opens up.
Yeah, it opens up.
I had that. That's one of the things that I sold. I had the TIE Pilot. I had the Stormtrooper head. I had the Vader head. Yeah, because that was another thing that they had with the Star Wars micro machines were these fucking play sets.
Yep.
That was the head of these characters, and then it opened up and you had all the little figures and shit inside.
I all of my willpower to not fucking get that off of eBay today because they're hovering around $30. To get one of those,
which again is not bad.
It's really not
that old if it's in good condition,
especially for somebody with a tie, like an affinity. Like that's if I collect nothing else. Like if I sold everything except for my TIE Fighter stuff, I'd still have a pretty sizable Star Wars collection.
Yeah.
And I'd be willing to like buy, Micro Machines diecast, which this thing is fucking really, really. Really nice.
Isaac in the chat had the Yoda head playset, which I'm assuming that opened up into Dagobah because I'm pretty sure Vader opened up to Bespin.
Yeah,
I think the Stormtrooper opened up to like the Death Star.
Oh no, I thought the TIE Pilot opened up to like almost like the throne room, Emperor throne room.
Oh, okay, maybe
that thing.
Yeah, because I remember because it had the glass that you could break and it would break in two.
Yeah, I'm going to. You know what? No. Because if I look at it, then it's already on my watch list. Yeah. I may or may not on eBay have how you can put on eBay like it'll text you like updated listings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there is a TIE Fighter notification that
anything TIE Fighter.
Anything TIE Fighter.
Oh my god, you must get 100 texts a day.
Not really.
Really?
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
Huh.
I think it probably only messages once a day, but it's once a day.
Right.
So, and I look, the amount of willpower that I exert is phenomenal. I should be applauded for that. The amount of willpower that I exert.
We'll write songs about you.
We should.
About your willpower.
You absolutely should. No, don't do that. It would be a horrible mistake.
So, anything else on Micro Machines? It was kind of a short episode, I think.
It was. I mean, it was an excuse for me to go into fucking storage and pull out some of my Star Wars action fleet.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
And you know what? They're not really. They're not that expensive. Like if you wanted to, I'm probably. $30-$40 in package.
Yeah.
Right. If you want one out of the package, I'm still like
the price tag.
I'm still in the market for a circa 1978 TIE Fighter. And I've gotten to the point where I'm ready to buy pieces of it.
Yeah.
So that I can start because people sell the pieces all the time.
Right.
Because like one collector will find it and then it's like, okay, I need a battery cover. Right. So then they sell battery covers, or they sell like the panels, they sell the stickers. So you can like piecemeal one of these things together, which is what I might end up having to do.
Nice.
Because it's the beginning of a lifelong obsession. And I'd like to have I have the circa 1982 TIE Pilot.
Right.
Bend at the waist.
Yeah.
Just to sit in there. Like I have one or two of those. I got a lot of TIE pilot shit, man. I just do. It's
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
So speaking of which, a little sidebar real quick.
Yeah.
We need to talk about when we want to do the next All Things Star Wars episode, because I feel like enough time has passed where I'm ready to address the Gina Carano situation with a little bit cooler of a head,
right,
but still a lot of anger inside. So I'm pretty much ready to do that.
Okay.
So we need to do that soon. I think at some point in April we need to do the next All Things Star Wars, since we're talking about Star Wars and everything, because I've got a lot to say.
Yeah. Do we want to do it instead of a Gen X?
Probably, just for bandwidth reasons.
Right.
Plus, I've got my next drill weekend, not this weekend, but the weekend after, and it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, we should. It definitely needs to be addressed in some form or fashion.
Mm-hmm. And again, like I had an immediate reaction, and I was like ready to like just come on here and just be nothing but fucking fuck for 2 hours.
There's going to be a lot of fucking fuck, because there's a lot of nonsense and hoopla.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think I'm ready to approach the subject with a little bit more reason, but not too much. So, and alcohol will be involved that episode.
Absolutely. You can't have All Things Star Wars without fucking a little toddy or two.
Yep. And then maybe we can also, we'll discuss.
Well, next week we're doing, do we talk about what we're doing next week?
No, we did not.
So next week is a pretty significant anniversary.
And is it on the day that we record? Is that the day of the anniversary?
I think it's April 5th. Is April 5th next Monday? Yes, it is Monday, because that's when I'm taking my Part 107 test.
Okay.
So I believe that is the day of Kurt Cobain's untimely death.
Yeah, April 8th, 1994. 94.
But it's April 5th that we're doing the podcast. So right around the anniversary of that.
Oh,
so we're gonna do our music episode of Nirvana.
He was found on April 8th. They estimate he had died 3 days earlier on April 5th.
There you go.
So yeah, we're gonna talk about Kurt Cobain, Nirvana, kind of the legacy that he's left, and
kind of the
I think it's gonna be a little bit of everything.
Yeah, the teeing up of the grunge movement, because honestly, without Nirvana, does grunge exist the way it did?
We'll answer that question next week.
Yes.
And we'll probably get into things like mental health and quite frankly, reading the signs of fucking suicidal people.
Yeah,
because they were all there. And then some, and it still happens. So,
indeed,
great.
Great way to end it, Jason. What the fuck, man? I'm usually the one who throws that out there.
Yeah,
but we can talk about our social media.
Oh,
since we have an amazing social media director.
Yes, we do.
We want to make sure we drive as much traffic as possible to her.
Fucking right.
At Gen X POV. Everywhere.
But mostly Instagram.
Yeah. Instagram's where it's at. That's where she's doing her best work.
Yep.
I think that's simulcast on our Facebook page.
Sorry.
I believe that's simulcast on our Facebook page. But if you're on Facebook and you're one of the Facebookers, then look for the Sidebar Cantina.
Is that a word? Facebook?
Probably. I mean, scrapbooking is a word, so why wouldn't Facebooking? Right? Sure. Go to Sidebar Cantina on Facebook, and that's where a lot of the just fun shit happens for the 100 or so people that are in there. Just enjoy seeing random shit. Yeah, go to the Sidebar Cantina.
And I enjoy seeing new people in there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fucking great. David K, get in there.
Fucking do it.
If you're not already. At Gen X POV. While you're out there and you're looking for podcasts and you're going to listen to us and leave us a 5-star review that we will read live on air, you can also go to the All Things or ATSW Escape Pod. They're still the ATSW Escape Pod.
Yeah,
they were in the chat as
well
such.
Because I think they couldn't just go with the Escape Pod because there's already a show called the Escape Pod.
And plus, having A in the beginning, like really, it sets you above the rest because you're
alphabetical is important.
It is important. So, we went with anyway. Follow the Escape Pod guys. That you can get them on all your podcast outlets. They go live Wednesday nights. It is a good time. Get in on a chat. The best part of the escape pod is derailing the guys in the chat. So I highly recommend finding them on YouTube on Wednesday night and getting involved in the chat with those guys. They support us. We support them. It's good shit. Brady and Don are good guys.
Yeah.
The Used and Abused podcast is going live.
I think they're Fridays now, right?
Oh, man, I am the worst. Search for Used and Abused. They are going to be live. Follow them. I believe they posted on our Facebook page when they're going live. If Jason wants to look at that while I'm trying to fucking talk about it.
Talk slower.
Yeah. I mean, I could get into my phone and look, but then I can't talk at the same time, or I can, but it would be a lot of gibberish, which is basically what I'm doing now. Still nothing. Huh? So
it's hard to navigate.
So
on the phone.
Anyway, search for the Used and Abused podcast. Those guys, Scott and Kim, are great. And if you're still looking for some more entertainment and you're on the Facebook again, go to Keith Lehman. Go to Find Lehman's Terms on Facebook, and you get some random diatribe.
And also, if you're having trouble finding any of this stuff, just join the Sidebar Cantina Facebook group, because all these folks post their content in our group.
We do. And if you are,
because we allow it.
If you are a fellow content creator and you are supporting us, help us support you. And we will give you some shout outs. But you have to remind me. Reminding. Speaking of reminding, did we ever circle back?
Yeah, it was the Back to the Future thing.
All right. I remembered right at the end.
Good job, Dave. You did great.
Thanks. Did you ever find it?
No.
All right. Sorry, Scott and Kim.
I found a different post of theirs, but I didn't find their
Use and Abuse
post.
Do it. And I think we're done.
All right.
I do want to hang out I know you have something going on, but I do want to hang out a little bit afterwards for the after show.
All right, I'll give you 15 minutes.
Okay, because
we did finish early, so
yeah, we'll talk a little fantasy hockey for our Sidebar Cantina folks.
All right, fair enough. All right, everybody, thanks for joining us. Thanks to all the audio listeners, the video listeners. You guys are all the best. We love you. You are the reason why we do this. And remember, everything we told you today was true from a Gen X point of view.
Okay, now what do I click?
All right.
Hang on.
Oh, apparently my mic was bad for that last part.
Okay, now what do I click?
Well, what can you do?
Hello. So, two things.
All right.
One, if we do the thing for Nick, you might need to make a separate audio recording for that.
Yeah. Is it just an audio thing that he wants?
Yes, as far as I know.
Well, you would know better than me because I have no idea what he wants.
So I'm almost positive it's just audio. I could probably text him or something.
Yeah. Do you at least know what he wants us to say?
Yes, I do.
All right. We should do that live, like the trying to read his script or whatever.
It's not a script. So we're doing Creeping Death, and in Creeping Death it has like in the chorus, like it's like die.
What is this for?
For the thing he's doing for Sweet Studios.
No, well, what is Creeping Death?
It's a Metallica song.
Is it?
Yes.
Which album?
I think it's from Ride the Lightning.
Oh, not as familiar with that one.
Hang on. Anyway, so fantasy hockey, Lunar Girl's talking some shit.
She is. She's the only one talking shit.
Yeah, she is the only one talking shit. And then I think Keith had a little clapback today. When somebody starts talking about fantasy hockey, I'll go into the app and just look at what's going on.
Right.
I've given up on trying to release and get players, because every time I go to get a player, that player's not playing anyway. So why am I going to get that player?
Yeah.
Because it's not about getting the best particular player. It's about getting a player that's playing on that particular day. And you can only do that so many days per fucking week.
Right.
So, excuse me.
It's a lot of work.
It's really fucking annoying, and
wasn't this whole thing your idea?
Probably because I'm sure it was live on air, so I can't deny it.
Right.
I mean, I could, but then all right. I don't want to play too much more.
Yeah, we'll get fucking...
YouTube will get all fucking squirrely. The fucking Facebook on the last episode.
Yeah, what's up with that bullshit? Facebook took down our video from last week's episode because I put in the clip of the wedding scene from fucking Money Pit.
Yeah.
And apparently that version of Ode to Joy is fucking copyrighted by fucking Columbia Pictures or whoever. Fuck you.
Yeah. But it got through.
Whatever happened to fair use? You fucks.
Yeah. Some bot that fucking listens
I'm
to
sure
all
that's
our bullshit.
I'm sure that's all it is. Fucking algorithms. And...
Yeah. Yeah. What fucking Lunar Girl? What album was that? Was Creeping Death on? I just want to see if I'm right or not. Anyway, I'm going to put these away because for once, I'm actually bringing Star Wars stuff back home me that I brought in.
Not adding to our pile of
Star
Wars nonsense.
These are specifically part of the keep in storage. Ever see this?
Ooh.
It's a calendar. It has all the posters on it.
Get the fuck out. Just up to the prequels?
Yeah, here, look at it.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I got.
What year?
This is basically Star Wars #1. If you recognize the cover.
Oh yeah.
But it's
the old Marvel Star Wars.
Yeah,
this is 2006.
Yeah, so this is
I don't know if I can see
comic book covers from 2012 is this guy.
Yeah.
So.
Lunar Girl said ride the lightning.
Woo! I got it.
Oh, it's a coloring book.
Book with
I'm Ray.
And then some posters. This is actually, I don't even know where I got. I have a lot of.
Yeah, Director Krennic.
Yeah. I think this might have been when we went and saw it in the theater. Saw Rogue One.
We saw that in IMAX too, didn't we?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's where I got all these posters from.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's bins like this in my house of Star Wars stuff that is deliberately kept out of the public eye, so that people don't find it. B, I don't want to get ruined. I mean, honestly.
Yeah. Is this staying here?
No.
Okay.
Why do you want it to?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I mean, we've got the sacred texts.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck to do with them.
Well, that's why we're building it.
Oh, yeah, because we were going to put them on the new shelves.
Yep. On the bookshelves.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. Let's sign off with these guys. Sorry for the short post show.
Yeah, I got shit I got to do, and
Jason's got things to do. We got to record this thing for Nick, and then.
Do we want to record it while we're live so they can listen to us?
We're just saying words over. It's kind of anticlimactic.
All right, fine. Sorry, I tried.
Yeah. Nope. You have to wait for it to debut on Sweet Studios.
Yep. All right, cool. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
See ya. Thank you.